What's going on, everyone? Josh Rzepka here, and welcome back to another Mute Monday. And yes, today is actually Monday. Today I'm very excited to be sharing with you these two mutes from Sshhmute in New Zealand. And I've got their Whisper Mute as well as this straight mute, the Sshhtraight Mute. And you gotta love that name. Now, this video is not sponsored, but these two mutes, they were sent to me from Sshhmute so that I could make this video. So many of you out there may already be familiar with the standard Sshhmute, but if you were like me and you hadn't checked out their website for a while, well, then you may not realize that they make a whole lot more mutes than just that standard original practice mute. Now, before I get into all the details and the playing examples, let's check both of these mutes out up close. First up, let's check out this Whisper Mute. Now, this is a very sleek and sharp looking mute. This is made from lightweight ABS, and I really dig the shiny black design with that pop of yellow on the bottom. And on the top, you can see the cork goes all the way around, sealing off the top of this mute. On the bottom, there is a hole. That is where all of the air escapes, and there's a hole with a tube kind of going through the middle of this mute. If you already have the practice mute version, you will immediately see how much larger the hole on the bottom of this is compared to that one. And that allows a lot more air and a lot more sound to escape compared to that original practice mute. All right, now let's check out this Sshhtraight mute up close. So this mute is also made out of lightweight ABS, but the bottom, it is rounded with this gray plastic cap. And the side profile of this looks very similar to the Whisper. And at the top of this mute, though, it's got the three standard looking corks. Overall, this mute looks to be well made. It's got a nice straightforward design, and it is using a lightweight and strong materials. Now, the Whisper Mute, this is one of the newer offerings from Sshhmute, and I wasn't actually familiar with this mute until they sent it to me. Years ago, I'd picked up one of their standard practice mutes, and then this past year, I was checking out their website, and I saw that they had all of these other mutes that I was completely unaware of. They had all of these new models. They've got practice mutes for the piccolo trumpet, for the flugelhorn, as well as some of the other brass instruments, which I do not play. But I was really just very excited to see that they had expanded their entire lineup. Now, according to them, this Whisper Mute, this was designed for on-stage quiet passages when you need that stability, security, and perfect intonation. And they also say that this can be used as a practice mute when you don't have to be absolutely quiet, when you don't have to use a dedicated practice mute. So it seems like people were asking for something with a little more versatility, and that's what they tried to do with this. Now, for the straight mute, it seems like they were also going after something new. They wanted an alternative to the many metallic straight mutes that are out there, so they stuck with this lightweight ABS material, looking to create a straight mute with a warmer, non-metallic tone. They didn't want something super edgy. And it seems like they were trying to create something that was light, free-blowing, great intonation. So they were really going after a lot with this mute. All right, so you've just heard what both of these mutes are all about. Let's hear how they sound. All right, so you just heard both of these mutes. What did you think? Let me know in the comments below, and while you're at it, why don't you hit that like and subscribe button? Starting off with this whisper mute, I gotta say I was very impressed by this mute. As you heard, this mute plays very well and evenly throughout the entire range of the trumpet. As you heard, I played this all the way up to a double high C, and it has got great intonation. It has got a nice blow. There is not too much back pressure. You can really lean into this mute and get that stability and soft sound from the other end, which seems to be exactly what they were going after. And as they suggested, this mute can be used as a soft mute as well as a practice mute, and I think it's just terrific to have something that versatile. Personally, for me, I think this is plenty soft to be used as a practice mute, and the slightly larger hole in the bottom of this mute, it really makes it's just much more open and free-blowing than their standard practice mute, which is a favorite of so many trumpet players worldwide. Personally, I would use this whisper version more often compared to the OG, that original practice mute, just because this is more open and more free-blowing. All right, now what did you think of this straight mute? As you heard, this mute does not have a metallic sound to it. It's got a clean, muted sound, and I thought it played very well throughout the registers with solid intonation. It's got a nice response, but it does not have a very heavy front to the articulation. You know, there's no edge to the front of the note. So for me, I would probably use this in smaller ensembles, chamber groups, brass quintets, or for solo pieces. Now this mute, it could work for large ensemble work if you are needing a muted sound without being too intense on the front of the note. It can get brighter if you really lean into it, so that could make it a good option for pieces where, you know, you've got to play a soft lyrical solo, and then maybe a little later in the piece, you've got to, you know, really lean into it and play out more and project. So overall, a nice new option for trumpet players that are looking for a non-metallic straight mute. Something with a design and sound that is a little more reminiscent of some of those older fiber mutes. So there you've got it. A big kudos to Sshhmute for continuing to innovate and, you know, coming out with some terrific new mutes. And another big thank you for sending these to me so that I could create this video. That's all I've got for you today. I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.